Okay. Now, yesterday we have seen and we have learned what is white box testing and what is black box testing. So can anyone tell what is white box testing and what is black box testing?
Yeah, white box testing when we test the code, and black box is like the functional testing, the manual and the automation comes under that.
Yeah. So similarly, there comes gray box testing. So what is a gray box testing? When you combine both black box and white box, that is called gray box testing. So basically here, in this technique approach, both the developer as well as functional tester do the testing. Okay, that is called gray box testing. Or else if anyone has both the knowledge of this code as well as your what manual testing, then or automation testing, you can also do that. So that is a gray box test. Now that is now let's understand the other type. Means again the testing can be divided into functional testing, okay, and one is non-functional testing. So what is functional testing and what is non-functional testing? Okay, let's say everyone must be using Amazon. So, okay, when the Black Friday sale comes, okay, when the Black Friday sale comes, what happens? Instead of, let's say, 10 lakhs user hitting that Amazon daily, same Amazon 1 crore user may hit because of Black Friday sale. Because the rate is cheap, everyone want to buy it. So, this particular scenario in which I'm not testing the functionality. Here I'm not testing that the Amazon is able to, functionality is what? When I test the Amazon is able to place a order, sorry, the Amazon is able to place an order for TV, place an order for mobile, that is your functional testing. Just assume that, let's say, you have bought a bike, okay? You have bought a bike. Now, what is the functionality of the bike? If I start it and move the accelerator, it should go ahead. So that is my functionality. But what can be non-functional testing? Let's say if two people of 100 kg sit on it, the bike doesn't run or doesn't move. So that comes under non-functional testing. Here, it is not the functionality that sitting two heavy weapons, the bike is not running. That is not a functionality of the bike. Functionality of the bike is to run. That is happening. But when I'm putting extra pressure or extra load, that is not a functionality, rather that is a non-functional you can say related to that bike. And when I do the testing, that is called non-functional testing. But when I test that the lights are working fine for the bike is running. If I move the accelerator, the bike clutch is working, gear is working, brakes are working. That is functionality. But when I test, if I put two heavy people, the bike is running or not, or that is my non-functionality testing of that bike. Similarly, here, when you have an application, if I say you want to do functional testing of that application, what you can do? You can place order for TV, you can add something to the card, add an address, anything what you do in the particular site. Day to day, whatever you are doing in Amazon, every now and then you must be surfing the Amazon, you must be adding something in the cart, and these all are the functionality of the application. But in Black Friday sale, let's say how instead of 10 lakh customer, 1 crore customer hit the particular Amazon application. So in that scenario, will it work or not? When I do that testing, that is called non-functional testing. What other can be comes under non-functional testing? Let's say there is a site, okay, some hacker hacks it. So that is also non-functional testing. I need to do security testing. That is also non-functional testing because that is not a functionality. Okay, is that application is prone to hacker and viruses? That is again a non-functional testing. That doesn't come in the functionality of the application. Yes or no? Understood? Valuable
Yeah.
puzzle. Puzzle.
Yes.
Puzzle. There are good puzzle. Understood puzzle?
Yes, understood. Sorry, actually, I am listening with my headphones, so it takes time to unmute.
Oh, okay, okay. If not, you are not able to unmute, just ping in chat. Yes, I'll get that you are getting. Okay. So now inside the non-functional testing, one such testing is called performance testing. Okay, one such testing is called performance testing. So what is performance testing? Performance is like I want to test the performance of that application. That is called performance testing. Inside performance testing, again, it is subdivided into different parts that will understand. So when I test the performance of a bike, that means if I want to test the performance of a bike, means what I will test. I will test how many mileage it is going, okay, and how many weight it can handle. That is the performance testing, right? Same in the application also. Performance testing is a type of testing which I do to test the performance of that particular application. And that is a non-functional testing. That is not a functional testing. I'm not testing the functionality of the application. Now see, there are four people. There are four runners in a competition. Their functionality will they will run. So all four are running. But out of all four, someone comes first and someone comes second and someone comes last. So here that doesn't mean that all four didn't do the functionality. They did the functionality, but someone's performance is better. Why? Because the non-functionality parameter of that particular uh, runner may be better. What is the non-functional parameter? Non-functional parameter maybe he is more healthy. So that is a non-functional parameter. But functional is that everyone is running. Similar to here also, in performance testing, will test the non-functional parameter, and based on if the non-functional parameter are good, then the performance is good. If your application functionality is working fine, but if non-functional parameter is not good, then the performance of your application is not good. That means your application is able to do all the functionality. It is able to place an order. It is able to address everything. But every now and then it is prone to virus. Every now and then hackers are hacking them. Every now and then, if some sudden huge traffic comes, then it crashes. So the performance is not good. And nowadays, you cannot also ignore this performance. Nowadays, you cannot ignore this performance also, performance testing or non-functional testing, because every banking application need to do security testing. Just assume if they don't do security testing, a single hacker can hack millions and crores of rupees. Okay, all those applications where money is involved, they are mandatory to do security testing. If you follow news or not, I'm not sure. Maybe you are outside, but I'm saying it was like not recent news, 10-year or 15-year back. So when this non-functionality testing was not there, like security testing and all were not there. Now these are coming to market rapidly, but 10, come to go back to 10, 15 years. Then you must have heard some of the renowned bank also, from every account, 1 rupee or 5 rupee had been deducted. How it was done? It was done by some hacker, right? Maybe he's sitting here or sitting in other part of the world. And even if they sit here, they just use VPN so that their IP cannot be tracked. Okay, so some anti-social element do all these things, right? Use VPN. That means if you use VPN here, and do something, but it will show that you have access from Antarctica or South America. So it will just route your IP address. So that you cannot be easily tracked. Okay. So if you have followed the news, what I was telling that there was a news that from every customer account, one or five rupees got deducted. But you may think that what happens if 1 or 5 rupees get deducted. But just assume the hacker who took 5 rupees from each account, there would be a million customer. So it will become 5 million for each. For you, it may be 5 rupees, but it's a 5 million for them. And at the end of the day, who paid for that? The bank paid for that, right? That 5 rupees which was deducted, that bank was responsible and was paying for that. Why? Because they have not tested the non-functional parameters. It was not happened with a single bank. It happened 2 or 3 banks. If you go past to 10, 15 years, nowadays they have used all those measures, but that was some scenario, not even India, in every part of the world it should have happened. Okay. So along with the functional parameters, you have to test the non-functional parameter also. Okay. Now, what is the first type of performance testing? The first type of performance testing is load testing. Okay. So what is load testing? Load testing is that now, as a customer, I know how many people will be using my application. As a client, it is what you say, just a basic thing that you must be knowing how many traffic your application will draw. That means it may draw 5 people, it may draw 5 million people. So that you need, that you know. So what is load testing? Load testing is that I need to perform test by giving input from that many users. If let's say my application is used by 1 million users, so I will hit that particular application at a time with 1 million users. Okay, so that is load testing. I am not testing till the system break. Just understand. I am not testing till the system break. I am just testing till my client expect the application to draw that many users. My client is expecting it will draw 1 million users. I will test by hitting 1 million request. My client is expecting it will draw 9, but that application will be used by just 10 people. Then also I'll test by hitting that with 10 users. So that is load testing. Now, next comes your stress testing. So here comes the difference. In load testing, you are testing till the point the client is expecting the users the application will use. If the client is expecting 10, I'm hitting with 10 users. If the client is expecting 1 million, I'm hitting it 1 million users. But now comes the stress testing. Here, irrespective here of what your client thinks, you will do the testing till the system crashes. Okay. Now I have an application where my client is expecting 1 million users. Okay, so in load testing, what I'll be doing, I'll be just hitting 1 million users at a time and will be doing the load testing. But for stress testing, I will go till the point the system breaks. That means I will go till, let's say it breaks at 10 million users sitting simultaneously. So I will test till that 10 million users. That is stress testing. That's the difference between load testing and stress testing. Okay. Stress testing, I am doing till the point the system break. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
In load testing, I am just testing the system general behavior, but in stress testing, I am testing the system load capacity. Why this test is done? To know what is the capacity of this particular thing. Okay, this particular application. For that, it is done. The stress testing is done. This all comes under performance testing. Okay. And next, the third one which comes under performance testing is volume testing. Okay. So what is volume testing? Volume testing is that I will test a single functionality with a huge set of data. That is volume testing. Just understand the difference. There, user were making different requests, but here in volume testing, a single user is using a huge set of data. That is volume testing. That means when this testing will be done, in which scenario you may think that this testing will be done. This may be done when you run a batch file. So what is a batch file? Batch file is that when I'm running multiple files simultaneously, that is batch file. So what one such example is, let's say you are working in a company, okay? So there the salary is getting processed. So when the salary is getting processed, 4 lakh, 5 lakhs people are there. It is getting processed for 4 lakh, 5 lakh people at a time. So that is where we need to do volume testing. The functionality is same. It will just do some operation and credit to the backend of the same functionality. But it is doing for 4 lakh people. So the data is huge. Same functionality, but tested with a huge set of data, that is called volume testing. Understood, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, GUI testing is same. GUI testing is that when you test in the application which is you in the browser, that is GUI testing. Either in the browser or in the desktop application, if I open whatever you see, that is graphical user interface. Whatever you are seeing, with that your testing is GUI testing. Either if you open, just I have given an example, right? If I open I've given one example, I remember. Let's extract that. See, when I open Prime Video, okay. So whatever testing I do here, as I click this, click that, all these things, that is graphical user testing because that I'm doing in the user interface. This basically thing which you are seeing is user interface. Let it be here and let it be in a desktop application. Let's say the same app I open here. It is the same app. Okay, functionality is same, everything is same, but it is opening in a browser that is web application. It is opening as an app that is a desktop application. Okay. So here, whatever I test, that is also GUI test. Basically, I do functional testing through GUI testing. GUI testing means graphical user interface. Whatever I'm seeing here, that is your graphics, and from there, graphical user interface. So when I do the testing using the GUI of the application, that is GUI testing. Simple. So for the same application, see, this version is your web version, and this version is your desktop version. Okay. Then unit testing. Unit testing is the same as white box testing. So unit testing is done by the developer to test the code. Okay. Then integration testing. Integration testing is same only like when we combine all the, what you say, when you combine all the components developed individually and test it as a whole, that is integration testing. As the name suggests, same as integration testing. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in your software industry, you don't have a single testing environment. If you are maybe working on, maybe your manual tester automation doesn't matter, but in software industry, there are 2-3 testing environment. That means there is a lower testing environment that is called SIT. Okay, there are some higher testing environment that is called UAT. So there are basically 2-3 testing environment. Understood? So why we call lower environment? Why we call higher environment? You may be thinking that is RAM-less or no, nothing. Exactly the same replica. Both the environment are same, every configuration, every hardware, everything is same. Why it is called lower environment is in corporate, you will not see that in single environment testing is done means it will get released. No, it get released after getting tested in multiple environments. That means first it will be the code will be the lower environment you will test. Okay, that is maybe integration testing. Okay, it's tested in the lower environment. Now the same code goes to the higher environment. Let's say before the final environment, maybe there will be 3-4 environment. The lower is called generally called SIT, but name can differ. Okay, so lower is SIT and higher is UAT. It's generally used, but doesn't matter. Doesn't be the same. Maybe the name can be changed, but just understand there is 3 environments. Okay, I have to test first in the first environment, again test in the second environment, then again test in the third environment. Because when you are giving a piece of code to the client, you have no scope of what? You have no scope of error. So we do the testing in 3-4 environments basically. Okay. Now, what is system environment? Sorry, system testing. System testing is the testing which is done basically before the final environment and after the lower environment. Means after the lower environment, before the higher environment. It's the middle testing, you can say, middle environment testing. Okay. So integration testing you did in your lower environment. After that, you'll do a testing that is called system testing. After that, you will do a testing. Okay. That is called UAT testing or acceptance testing. Understand? So system testing is basically the testing which is done, but which is done before the acceptance testing and after the integration testing. Simple. Understood, everyone?
So after higher environment is the acceptance testing.
Acceptance testing. After that, it is released. The final product is released to the market. Now, when
Okay,
you
so
give a product to the client, means what you will do. At the end of the day, you have to release to the market, right? Will like you, me, and normal customer will be using.
okay, so before delivering the final product, we do the acceptance testing, or the after that. Okay.
No, before that.
Okay, so before the acceptance testing, we do the system testing, and after the integration, right?
First integration, then system, then acceptance.
Okay.
Clear? Fazal, you are also clear, right? If you have any issue with mic, you can just say yes in chat.
Yes, no, I understood this, that last stage of testing before delivering it, it is acceptance testing.
Yes. Before acceptance testing is system testing.
Yep.
Because in real time, you will see you have 3-4 testing environment. Okay, you don't have just a single testing environment. And that means you just do a testing in a single environment and it get released. No. You have 3-4 testing environment. Okay. So the initial environment is generally called lower environment or SIT. The higher environment to do the acceptance testing is called DUAT. But the name can vary. It's the general term used, SIT and DUAT, but the name varies. Okay. Now next. There are some terms which is used. We should know before proceeding. Okay. So build. So what is a build? Now see, I've told you. See, in Agile you have seen, right? In every sprint we are doing a delivery. In every sprint we are giving a delivery. So what in software, what is a delivery? Delivery is a piece of code which will be bundled in a exe, which you double click means it will install the application, or it will patch on the application. See, there are two things. Just see, there are two things I'll tell you, but if you have not used it, then you cannot get it. See, here whatever application I've installed, let's say this Amazon Prime only, I've did a full install. Why? Because this is the end product of sprint 5. Just assume that this Amazon was built on 5 sprint. This Amazon was built in 5 sprint, and end of the 5 sprint, because product I am using as a customer is the final product only, right? We are not tester or something of the company. We are just using the final product, not using any intermediate product, correct? So when I'm getting the final product, what is happening? I am getting the final product, I am doing a install. That is actually, I am doing a full install. Just understand this concept. I am doing a full install. But in your software industry, when you will be working in sprint 1, you are getting a, and basically what is this build? This build is just a exe file, right? Which I am installing for this is for this Windows, it is a exe file, and for the your Android, it is a APK file. For iOS, some like IPA file. So these are some file extensions. So what are these? These are ultimately a build, right? Which is created, which is generated by a software company. This installable file is called as, just understand it's a simple term. The installable files are called as build. Understood? Now say yes, no, because this is a bit new for you. So maybe
No, I have questions. I thought the build is when the developer they email us the link of the website, like this you need to test, right? So I thought that is called the build. No?
wait, I'll tell you. Okay, this is your question, right?
Yeah, so that is just the link of the website, but you were telling that we need to install something like
Okay, just tell me.
yeah.
Okay, so means when you're opening a link, so it should be installed somewhere. Then only you are able to see, right? It is installed in a server somewhere. Then only you are able to see. But what is a link? It's nothing like it is coming from somewhere. It's coming from somewhere, right? When you're hitting a link, the data are coming from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
That we'll understand. The next topic is that only web application. I'll tell you the total architectural structure. So there they have installed the build only, the new build. That's why you are seeing. Because ultimately, when you are using Amazon, there should be somewhere something from where it is fetching and showing you, right? That you understand, right? In layman term.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, there would be something somewhere from where it is fetching. I am telling you this one, this example, desktop application example, because you have uh, used it, you have installed it, but this wave one you have not installed it. So if I tell you also, you cannot relate. That's why I'm explaining in desktop application. Understand?
Yeah.
So just understand from desktop application. Now when I'm explaining the web application, I'll tell you how it is the build for that URL which you are talking. Okay. Now see, when I'm installing that exe file, that is the final build which is developed by the software company. So I'm using it. But in the sprint, in the sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, this build is not the final build. This is just a, you can say, initial build with some of the functionality. So I installed it. So this all delivery which I kept after the end of the sprint is one build only. Correct? One build only, right? So
Yeah.
I have installed this build for the first time. Now, just ask any doubt, because this is an important concept and you need to understand what is build, what is patch, and all those things. Puzzle or Daliwali, whoever. Okay, so first I installed this. It is a build. It has just functionality one. I've installed it in my system. Clear? Understand or not?
Yeah. So
Yes.
like in the first sprint, the developer will give us
Uh,
the build, right?
let's say .exe file is given, which I have installed. Okay, so this how you have installed. You must have a .exe file which you have double clicked it and it got installed, right? Any software you have installed in your system, it's a .txt file at the end of the day, right? For Windows, it is .exe file. Maybe who are using Mac, it is a .ip file. So there is a .exe file which you have double clicked and you had installed it. You are getting the final build, so you are not following patch or build because you are getting the final. But here, when you are testing with the sprint one, I got a build. I installed it. Cool. I
So when
got the
I'm
F1.
so
Yes.
when I'm getting the final like the whole product, when the developer will send me the full final product, right? That is also called the build. And when we are getting in the parts like in
Yes.
the sprint one, that is also
Yes.
a build.
Correct.
Okay.
That is also a build.
Okay.
So when I installed this build, I got an application having just F1 functionality. Now sprint to come. The developer gives me a build. It has both F1 and F2. Okay. If it has both F1 functionality and F2 functionality. But I already have F1 functionality. So let's say if I do a full install of this build. So there are two ways of installing. One is full install, one is patch install. Just understand this. One is full install, one is patch install. Now, if I do a full install, it will give me F1, F2. Okay. But I already have F1 functionality with me. Why I need again F1 functionality? I will do a patch mode installation. If I do patch mode installation in this build, whatever F1 functionality is there, it will not be installed. On top of this build, which is already installed, it will just add F2 functionality during installation. Understand this? Got it or you are not clear? Ask what I told.
Okay. So when we receive the first delivery and after that we receive the second delivery, right? So the
Sorry,
developer
sir.
know the
No,
delivery one
what?
F1 2.
Uh, See, what I'm telling is that you can install the build as either a full build or as a patch build. The same exe file, you can install it as a full build, you can install it as a patch build. So when I'll be installing full build, when I'll be installing a patch build, that you understand. Now, I have installed an application in Sprint 1 which have F1 functionality. Now, in Sprint 2, there is no need of doing a full installation of that build. Why? Because I already have F1 functionality with me. What I will do a patch installation of the build which I get in Sprint 2. What it will do if I do patch installation, it will check which all code are already present. So F1 code is already present, so it will not reinstall it. Rather, it will install the code of F2 which is not present on top of the build which is already present. So when I do this activity, that is a patch installation. If I do full installation again, it will overwrite it. Let's say it will overwrite the already installed thing and it will do a build completely with F1 F2. So that is a full install. But if I do patch installment, it will just add which is not already installed. Getting the point?
Yeah, got it.
Fazil, you got it?
Yes, I understood. Yep.
Okay. So similarly, when you give sprint three, that you patch install, that patch install. Now let's say someone haven't installed and he want the final build just. He will just take the sprint 5 build and do a full install, which actually I am doing here when I'm installing Prime Video or whatever application I'm installing here. I'm just doing the full install of the final build. So every feature are coming at a time to me. So understood, right? What is build, what is patch?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, release. See, these terms you'll be using regularly. So no one will explain you that this is patch, this is release. So you should know the terms. Okay, these terms you should know. So then release. So what is release? Release means the day when you give the final build to the customer. The process of giving the final build to the customer is called release. That means the day release is done, the build release is done to the customer, the sprint ends. Simple. When, let's say here in the 5th day, the sprint overs means I have delivered the final build of sprint 1 in the 5th day. That process of delivering the final build to the customer is called release. Clear? Clear or not?
Yeah, clear.
So testing cycle. So what is a testing cycle? It's very simple. Testing cycle is just the start date, end date, and the list of testers who are doing testing. That's it. All right. So creating testing cycle to plan and execute specific set of mandatory testing cycle. Give all this information started testing and the tester report. Okay. Now, continuous integration and incident management. So what is continuous integration? So continuous integration is that here this is more you can say related to developer, but still understand what is continuous integration. Now in this sprint one, when we are writing code, let's say in this sprint one there are 100 functions. So developer are developing 100 functions. So what will happen? At the end of day 5, every 100 function will not be pushed. Actually, there is a area where the code is pushed, and from there, actually testing is done by pulling the code. So if you have used those, then you must be knowing. So that is more related to automation or developers. Okay. So we call it a Git. Okay, so if I have developed let's say 50 functions for this particular sprint one. So shall I wait for day 5 and push all the 50 functions? No. What I can do instead is I can push one function I've developed, I can push it. Second function I developed, I can push it. Now, the moment I push it, there is a tool called Jenkins, which is this continuous integration tool. So that you guys will not be using, that is automation tester maybe use may use it. Okay. So what this will do, the moment it is post, there is a process of scheduling jobs in the Jenkins, which will pull the code, updated code and test it. Pull the updated code and test it. What will happen at the end of the day? I have not to wait till the 5th day that all the 50 will be tested and I will be identifying the issue in the first method I've developed. If the first method I've developed, I've do the testing, I'll identify them and that one. Rather than waiting for the 50th day, or sorry, 5th day and again I'll get error in first method, 25th method, 26th method, then that will be a problem for me. But if I test when the first method is pushed, I tested it means the moment it is tested, I'll fix it. So it will be easier for me. So that is called continuous integration. It is more related to development and automation. Okay. So continuous integration is what? Continuously integrating the code changes and testing it continuously. That's why its name is continuous. Okay. Now incident management. So what is incident management? Now that is a term. Basically, incident management is like there may be natural calamity. Just understand this corona, which day. Okay, COVID-19. Okay. So what happened? All the company in the world had done incident management for that. What is incident management? Work from home. So for work from home, they provided laptops. Earlier, there are companies who did provide a single laptop to any other employee. But when this COVID-19 came, everyone was provided laptop and they did work from home. So that is also incident management. Incident management is that when an unfavorable condition occurs and how you will do management. That is called incident management. Okay, let's say tomorrow earthquake came. All your building collapsed. But your business should continue. See, a company has taken a project from client X. That doesn't mean he has to give it at this definitive. Do you think that getting project from client is easy? No. That this company have to sign a contract. If they don't give the project with the timeline, the company has to pay penalty. Some of the contracts are like that. So it's not easy as that article occur or anything occurs. You will just give a excuse, the client will hear. They will go by the contract. Okay. So then there needs to be a term called incident management. So in that, any unnatural thing happen or unplanned event happen, you have to manage it in such a way that the normal flow of work continues. That is incident management. Okay. So for software, for as a team member, what can my incident management? Incident management may be unplanned. Let's say some 5 members are working. So I have to complete my work within a sprint, right? 5 members are working, but there may be a sudden accident of one of the team members. So he will take a uncertain medical leave. So there you have to do incident management so that your work continue regularly. Work will never stop. In IT, work never stop, and it cannot be stopped also. Okay. So what can be incident management? What you can do? You can either take a resource from other team. The manager will do it. It can take a resource from other team who is free now or something, you have to manage and do the incident management. Okay, so that is called incident management. Next, now comes the question which you are asking, right, Maliwal? So in web browser, what is the build? He is just giving you a link. He is giving you a link. Okay, but how the web this thing works? When I open a Flipkart or Amazon, how it works? There's must be some area where the data is stored. That's why I'm going to see that this is 10 rupees, this is 100 rupees, that is 1,000 rupees or $1,000, whatever. There must be some area, right? So that is called server, where your actual build is installed for web application. Okay, that is called server. So there can be two types of server. See, for web application and for this desktop application. See, desktop application is also using internet. See, when I'm opening a web series, the web series is not stored in my local computer, right? It is fetching it from somewhere, then only it is showing, even though if I open a desktop application. Correct? Just let it be a web application or a desktop application. Whichever use internet to perform, that means using this client server model. So what is the client? Client is this one. When I open this up, this is the client. When I open the browser, when I open the browser, just don't misunderstand that this Amazon Prime application is the client here. This browser is the client. Through this client, I am accessing this Amazon Prime video or whatever. Okay. So what happens in client server acting statement? Let's understand. So see, these are the clients. You are using, let's say you are using Amazon Prime in your mobile, you are using Amazon Prime in your laptop. Okay. So this server can be of two types. See, now this server, from where it is getting the data? It is getting the data from the server. When I'm opening Amazon Prime, and this Amazon Prime needs to show a film to me. So from where it will show the film? From here, it will get the data and it will show to you. Now the UI you are seeing or the application you are seeing, that is also a build installed in this server from which is it fetching it and it is showing it. Or else how it will show? Along with the data and the build, it is installed in the server. Through internet, you are doing a request through API. API is a different concept. Through internet, just understand you are doing a request. And this request is return of that request, you are getting a response and it is shown in the browser. So the build for link you are telling, it is getting installed in this particular server. So you are getting a link, that's it. But here the build patch, everything is installed in the server. And don't misunderstand that Amazon, if I'm accessing Amazon, it has just one server. No, it can have multiple servers. The same application can access data from multiple servers. Let's say for food, it is accessing one server. For television, it is accessing another server. For mobile, it is accessing another server. So here in the server, your builder installed, as well as the data for that application is stored. And in the Chrome browser, when you hit Amazon, it will go to the server through via internet. If you don't have internet, then it will not work. So if you have internet, then a request is made, which is called API, just the term. Then to the server, and in response, the server gives something which you are seeing. So it's just like you want to eat, let's say cake. So you as laptop went to the shop, which is the server where cake is there. Okay. And this internet is your money, which you paid to the server, and the server gave you cake. Just the same concept. So in this shop, your cake is there. That means your build is installed. Now the new version of the cake will come. Then it will be there only. You don't have it. So when you again go and give money, you get the new version of the cake. Same concept. Understand what is client server model?
Yeah, understand.